Damn, dude!
Damn, dude.
What up, everybody? What is good? What's happening? Welcome to the Damn Dude podcast. This is a show where we have the conversations that need to be had in a way that'll make you think and say, damn, dude.
Damn, dude.
Ultimately, this show is to help further deepen our own sense of self-understanding by having the conversations that need to be had. We're here to help educate, entertain, and make an impact on life and the way that people think and the way that history is documented and made. So welcome, everybody. What up? I'm your host, California Cal. I have to say I'm not one of those Californians, meaning I do believe that fresh air is good for you. I don't believe that we should be wearing masks in cars by ourselves, doing dumb shit that makes no logical sense. I do believe it. I'm like one of those old school type of dudes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Go throw hands if that's what you got to do. Figure it out. Go have a conversation. Do whatever the fuck you got to do. And then come back and let's be cool after that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean by that. This is season 2, episode 20, motherfucking 3.
Call me up, I'm scoring. Hit it like a free throw. Tongue out like I'm Jordan.
Jordan. I just randomly found that clip. So I put that because this is episode 23. It's our Michael Jordan episode. So, welcome, everybody. Welcome. Hope you guys are having a beautiful day today. I am recording before I got to get off to work today. I had some coffee. I went over my first practice of gratitude stuff. So I do multiple things of gratitude every day. The first thing I have my gratitude I practice first thing when I wake up. So it's like before my eyes are even open, when my first thoughts start like creeping into my head. I've been training and training myself. Oh shit. To just practice gratitude. At least 3 things. I usually go over about like 7 to 10, if not more. And sorry, I'm getting messages at the same time. So yeah, I do that, and then also when I go to bed, I do my best to train my brain to just go over all the things I'm grateful for. And then when I wake up, if you see, I've talked about this before, my whole gratitude list, my gratitude book. If you actually ever get to see these videos, you see I'm flipping through my book here. So then I go and I write 10 things I'm grateful for every day. And then I go and say thank you and visualize. I say thank you 3 times for each thing and visualize and feel and experience it and then move to the next one. So that's what I've been doing as far as gratitude practice, and I can really say has been fucking life-changing. So with this episode, what we're going to get into is, if you listen to the last episode, I kind of got pissed because this lady was giving me a tough time about money. And I was like getting frustrated. I'm like, this fucking lady, can you just make this easy? Like, so I gotta say that I was wrong. I was completely wrong. If you go back, I'm like, this fucking lady, like, why can't you just make this easy? So the only reason I bring this up is because it serves as a great example of how many of us operate and how a lot of us will view things once or interpret things once, make a decision about it, and then be like, man, fuck this person or fuck that or fuck this or some shit like that, right? And it kind of creates and paints the world that we live into, because the context that we're interpreting things through completely fucking matters. Because I thought this lady was giving me a hard time. She actually paid me for the last week and the next one. And I was like, and it fucked me up because I was reading it as, I already paid you for last week. And so my bad, I completely read it wrong. She was actually saying stuff that was more in my favor than not in my favor at all. So in my head, I just go to like, man, what the fuck? Like trying to screw me, blah, 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 blah. And I thought I was going to have to go through all this like, just back and forth of like, dude, no, you said this or you said that or you didn't do this or whatever, right? So I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, I completely fucked this one up. At the same time, I didn't say anything. I didn't react, whatever. It was just how you guys heard me on the podcast. Like, I kind of let you guys into my inner thoughts by even saying anything. And that's what I do here is like, I keep it real as fuck. And you guys get to hear a lot of times shit. Like, just because the way this podcast is set up, it kind of allows for me to like be real, like the me that I am when nobody's looking. Like that's who I am on this podcast. I really realized that. Like how I sit here and would talk to myself with or without anybody looking or listening is what I'm doing on this podcast. So when you hear me be like, oh, what the fuck? Like, lady, why you gotta make this shit so hard? Can't this shit just be difficult? Like, that's me working by myself when nobody's looking. Like typically I'm thinking like, if I was in an office or a library or something and I got that message, would I still have acted like that? And maybe not as like out loud. I might have been like, oh, fuck, like to myself. But on the podcast, because I know I have a mic here and I'm talking to myself and I'm by myself, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, that's how I talk. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's like the real way that I really, really speak when nobody's looking. It's like, damn it, this or that or whatever, right? You'll also hear me say things that are positive or beautiful or whatever, like, oh man, that's amazing or whatever, you know? So I was cracking up about that because I was like, dude, I was completely wrong. She didn't screw me. She actually was not necessarily hooking me up, but like paying me exactly what I'm supposed to be owed. And then I'm like sitting here reacting incorrectly because of my own misinterpretation and my own lack of understanding. Because I'm like and that's kind of the lack of power of multitasking. Certain things you can multitask, but in general, multitasking doesn't work good. Now, excuse me, like how I mean that is like by trying to record a show and trying to read a text message about business all at the same time, like that's multitasking, you know what I mean? And you can see how if my focus is here and my focus is there, and I'm trying to have all of that equal my on camera and on mic focus, then I lose complete focus.
Damn, dude.
You know? So I also realized I just like stopped explaining what this episode was about. We're going to also talk about this pandemic, like what has started and what has ended on a personal level as far as this pandemic shit going on and cracking off, right? So I want to stay on this first part of the things that we misinterpret in life. How many, especially, dude, think about this. And I encounter this on a regular basis with people I'm joking with, people I'm talking serious with, people I'm talking business with, and anything neutral in between, which is misinterpretation. Because if you think about how much texting, or even if we're not, like, I feel like, I know for me, my communication has evolved even from texting to like DMs. Like you can reach me quickest through a DM rather than a text message, a phone call, especially an email. And I realized that. So I'm like, whoa, dude, like having the way that we receive and output information is all highly misinterpreted now because there's so much through text and voice inflection and sentence structure and the way we speak definitely matters and sets the tone and sets the context for what it is we want to understand, or we're trying to understand, or we're trying to have somebody else understand. So when we see and acknowledge that, holy shit, almost everything I say is gonna be misinterpreted just because the fact of life. Think about, like, what's that game? I don't know why my brain wants to call it Red Rover. That's definitely not what it's called. What the fuck is Red Rover? Red Rover, Red Rover. Send somebody on over. What the? Oh, that's the game where it's like you stand with your homies and you lock arms, and then the person has to run through your locked arm of people. That's Red Rover, right? Isn't that what it's called? Or does it have a different name? But I remember that's what people say. Red Rover, send whoever on over. And then we fucking link arms, and that person has to bust through your chain of people. And if they can't, then they got to go back and they lose or whatever. Anyway, excuse me. The fuck was I? How did I get to saying Red Rover? Oh, I know. That game, I still don't know the name. But the game we would do in elementary school, or experiment, I don't know if it's an experiment or game or what. But that one where you stand in a circle and you whisper to the next person the original phrase or original set of words, right? And then that person has to tell the next person, that person tells the next person, that person tells the next person. And it goes around depending how big your classroom is. Like our classrooms usually had 30 to 60-ish kids in them. So it would go through 30 to 60 kids and then come back to you. And it's like, I originally whispered to the guy next to me, the elephant sat on the pink balloon. And then by the time the message I got passed on gets back to me, it's there's a pink elephant drunk in the next room. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, who changed it to that? Like, how did we get to that? You guys remember that game? What was that? I don't know. People call it like telephone, or people call it fucking, I don't know what that game is called. We're going to call it Red Rover phone. And I don't know. I'm just saying shit. But if you look at that, how easy is it to misinterpret life? So, for example, I know I was the kid who, I would have two modes when we'd play that game. I would be I'm going to get this exactly right and nail it, or I'm going to completely fuck the whole thing up because I think it's funny. So if you tell me, oh, the elephant sat on a pink balloon, I want to be like, oh, an elephant ate a pink pine cone, just because I think it's funny because of the contrast. But the next person doesn't even understand that that's a joke because they didn't hear the previous words. So now when I tell them, oh, the elephant ate a pink pine cone, they're just like, oh, that's what was told to me. It's not even funny because they didn't understand the original context. So if nobody understands that I thought that was a funny joke halfway through that circle, then people aren't going to get it and we have the wrong information. So how many of things in life are like that? How many pieces of a meme, how many pieces of an article, how many pieces of a speech were just taken out of context or misinterpreted or just used slightly off, or there wasn't the explanation or the inflection or the voice change or whatever for that to be understood. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, dude.
That means even if we're interpreting 100% of the things we're reading correctly, we're still misinterpreting it because that person's context could and likely comes from somewhere completely different that we're not understanding. Because a lot of times when we listen, we're listening to be relatable, to be understood, to understand what it is we're relating to. You know what I mean? So it's fucking interesting because if you think of this shit, like we really are misinterpreting everything. And even already within any of you guys listening to this podcast, you've already misinterpreted some of the things that I've said just because it would spark a thought or spark a rabbit hole or fucking something in your brain to where it reminds you of something else, or you come from the context that you listen from. And everything that I'm saying is getting related to, bounced back, bounced off, or filtered through the information that you guys already know or the way that you guys already think.
Damn, dude.
So this is what's important about conversations and asking questions and kind of going back and forth a little bit, is that we don't really understand until questions are asked and a dialogue is had. Because if there's not a conversation to where it goes both ways and both people get to ask questions and both people get to listen and understand and interpret, then it's just kind of like a one-way thing. And then it becomes like, if you think, damn, I didn't even think about this like this. If you think about it, if you just tell somebody a bunch of information and you don't check in with them and ask them questions and clarify, then that person just watched you like you're a TV show. Think about how many TV shows you've seen and you don't remember them. You're just like, okay, yeah, I know that happened. I know I saw that. But what actually got said? What was the point? What was the message? What was the context? What was the feel? What was the vibe? What was the this? What was the that? So if you think about it, a lot of the interactions that people have with us or that we have with other people, we just occur as a commercial. We just occur as a TV show we just saw one time. You know what I mean? We just have this little moment in somebody's life and then fast forward. So it's like, if you consider, how are we actually affecting each other and what are we actually doing here on earth? How are we interacting with each other? Like, do we actually understand what the fuck we're ever talking about? Do we ever actually understand the point of the next person? You know what I mean? It's like, it seems that we really don't, because we just talk so quick. Information goes so fast. Memes get shared so fast. Articles get shared so fast. Podcasts are just a dime a dozen. News is a dime a dozen. It's all, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the beauty of podcasts, is at least that it's real information from real people most of the time. Because in my experience now, especially being in the podcast space, like, I see so many other podcasts, and when I'm looking at it, I'm not just seeing a podcast. I'm seeing the production, I'm seeing the camera, I'm seeing the microphone, I'm seeing the equipment, I'm seeing the topics, I'm seeing the layout. I'm seeing like the whole behind the scenes as I'm looking at it for what it is, right? Because I do this myself and I have my own version of behind the scenes, which I like to compare, and not necessarily compare, but like for the sake of compare and contrast, like, oh, what are they doing? What are they doing? What am I doing? And do my best to educate myself so that way I can understand, damn, is there a better way for me to do what I'm already doing? You know, that's what I'm looking for. So there's people yelling outside. So I think it's just pretty fucking trippy that the most of us are regularly misinterpreting what the fuck the next person's talking about, because we live in an era where the technology is just so different that it's shaped communication in such a fucking different way. So, especially through text, you know, some people just speak a certain way and it doesn't sit right with you. Some people speak a different way and it paints a perfect picture. Some people, you know, it could all be about the same subject and then we just don't fucking know because we get in our head about shit, or we listen through the filters of life that we interpret. Or how I talked about before, like, if you're wearing rose-colored glasses, all you're going to see is the world in this rose color. And until you take the tinted lenses off, you don't get to see life or anything differently. So this is kind of a reminder to myself or to anybody listening, is to take the lens, take the colored filter of the lens, take the lens off, take the filter off your life, off your vision, so we can see things for what they are. You know what I mean? So for me, with this lady in this text message, I had it in my head already that she was a difficult person to work with, just because there was a couple instances through our text messages in the beginning to where I gave information, she didn't agree, she said something, I didn't agree, and we went back and forth. We figured it out. It all made sense. We came to perfect understanding. But the thing was because that happened, it's already in my mind that, this person's going to text me some difficult shit. Even though it only happened like one or two times in the very initial instance of our communication, I check that I put on those colored lenses of this person and her communication to where I'm like, this person's always being difficult. So when I go to read a message that's actually in my favor, I'm like, this person's being difficult. So that's what happened was you guys saw me viewing my text message through a filtered lens of life, or a filtered lens of this person or this person's communication or whatever it may be. It's like my life filter applies to many things, and it made this person a not cool person, even though this person's a cool person, right? So it's fucking phenomenal how much shit we misunderstand or misinterpret or take the wrong way, and or just have this already automatic assumption of where people are coming from. And that's the most dangerous thing, because if you notice it, that's what we apply to the people we are closest to. The people that we are closest to and love the most, our family, our parents, our brothers, our sisters, our cousins, whoever we're really close with, those are the people that we have this filter of life on the strongest. Such and such is already going to, if I tell them this, I already know how they're going to act. If I say this, I know what they're going to do. If we bring them here, I know how they're going to this or that. If we bring them here, if we bring these people around these people, they're going to fight. If we bring these people around this, it's going to be this. If we bring this around, it's going to this. How do you already know that all of us, you know what I'm saying? Well, I know that because I've known this person for years and that's how they react. Okay, well, if you know that, then why would you not take it upon yourself to present and bring them information differently? Because like, I already know they're going to act like this if I say this. Well, that's where it comes back to personal responsibility and taking ownership for your goddamn self, which would be, all right, I'm going to take notice of the words I choose to use when I come at this person about this issue. Because if you do that, it's not all of a sudden that they changed about the topic and a subject. It's that you changed how you brought the topic or subject to that person or your issue or your whatever that made them respond differently. But it wasn't on them. It was on you to bring that forward. So for me, it's like when I talk to my dad, I have to take off my lenses of, this is how he's going to act. This is what he's going to say. Because it's easy for me to get into like a debate or a debacle or a back and forth with my dad just because of where he comes from and where I come from and the way he does shit and the way I do shit. It oftentimes doesn't naturally add up. So it's almost like if we were equals in terms of like age and work and all that, it's like he would think what I was doing was goofy as fuck and I would think what he was doing was way too serious in whatever sense, you know? So... and I'm just very generalizing. But with that, it's like he's going to take it as, I'm doing stuff irresponsibly. I'm doing stuff the stupid way. I'm doing stuff whatever. I'm just willy-nilly not knowing what the fuck I'm doing. And that I know that that's his his natural filter or lens of what I do. So I have to come and present myself slightly different, not in some fake or this or that, but just in a way of understanding. All right, I understand that sometimes people will have this view of me or this context of me, and that's fine. I'm going to still be myself and still act accordingly. But if I don't want conflict, I have to take responsibility for myself and understand how I come at him or anybody else that would make them respond or react in a way that is pleasant to me. You know what I'm saying? Or that I don't want to like disrupt or this or that. You get what I'm saying?
Damn, dude.
So it's truly on me, it's on us to be so aware and take so much responsibility for ourselves that the other person doesn't even have the chance to respond or act in the way that you know hurts you already. And or if you already know and then they do respond that way, what the fuck are you mad at? If you know somebody is liable to flip out if you talk about red bricks, I'm just making shit up, right? If you know the subject of red bricks is really sensitive to your uncle, and you know bringing up red bricks to your uncle is going to make him flip the fuck out because he's going to be triggered by this or that, and you bring it up in a nice, polite way, and he still flips the fuck out, and you knew there was a chance of that happening, why are you upset? What are you mad about? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you already know somebody's going to be upset about something, and they get upset about something you already know they're going to get upset about, what are you mad at? You already knew. You know what I mean? So it's like understanding, and then you just forgot your understanding. They always get mad when I say this. Well, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, what if somebody came up to you and like the way you heard shit, like let's take it harsher. Let's say somebody just comes up and is like, fuck you, I hate you. You're going to be like, what the fuck? Like, I don't like, no, like, fuck you, you know? And then that other person who comes up and said, I fuck you, I hate you. They're like, man, I was just joking with them. They can't take a joke. I can't ever joke with them. And then now it's like, all of a sudden, this person can't joke with you. And then all of a sudden, you're like, that person's mean and they just want to hurt my feelings. And then now all of a sudden, you got this huge debacle and it didn't even need to be there because two people just misunderstood, but at the same time, understood. Like, dude, if I come and I say this and back and forth, it equals out, you know? So this is where personal responsibility is number one, and it falls back on us every single time, no matter how rude or mean or whatever any other person could be, because there's a good chance we already misinterpreted several thousand things about this person already in the past, and we've put on this tinted color lenses of this person in their life and what is safe or not safe to say around them or to do or not do around them. So personal responsibility, mine. Because we are all, as humans, it's our job to make meanings of things. That's the difference between humans and animals. Humans are meaning-making machines. We make meaning constantly of everything. Everything we look at, everything we interpret, everything we judge, we're making meaning of it. As we're animals, they don't make meaning. They just live, survive, live, survive, live, live, live. There's no like meaning. Oh, well, this happened because that happened. Oh, well, I got my food. I didn't get my treat on my exact time because my owner's a loser. They don't think that stuff. Dogs, animals, they just live. They exist. They're in present time. But humans, we make meanings of things. And because we make meanings of things, that already automatically, no matter what, puts us in a space to misinterpret. Because you couldn't misinterpret if you weren't making meanings of something. You know what I'm saying? So with the fact that humans make meanings and we need meanings to understand life and to understand things, that means things are already incorrect right from the get-go.
Damn, dude.
So take a step back, take personal responsibility. You know, it's like, what is real and what's not real versus what is made up? What is my assumption, my already, oh, it's always like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, slow down sometimes. This applies to me. Reread, recontextualize, consider where that person's coming from or what they mean and what they're actually fucking saying. Otherwise, you end up making an ass of yourself and embarrassing yourself like me. I don't care because I admit it and I just keep it real. But I did make an ass of myself being like, oh, this fucking lady, blah. But you know what? Fuck it. At the same time, I'm like, damn, my bad. I was wrong as fuck. Like, oops. So I had to clear that up. And this is a very valuable teaching lesson. So what we're finna do is take a quick break. And after these messages, we'll be right back.
Damn, dude. Damn, dude. Damn, dude.
What up, everybody? Welcome back. And this episode is sponsored in part by Don't Be a Little Bitch. Take personal responsibility for yourself, your life, your loved ones, your actions, your reactions, and your life. You know what I mean? It all equals your life. So that's what this program is brought to you in part and sponsored by Don't Be a Little Bitch. That applies to myself too. So as far as this whole pandemic, I have not been a fan of the word plandemic, but I do agree that this was planned to some certain degree and extent. You can pass me my tinfoil hat if you like. Pandemic, whatever the fuck it is, whatever the truth is about it, we all have our own interpretation, and there's fucking unlimited amounts of facts of where the shit came from, where it started, why it started, how it started, who started it, where it comes from, where it came from, what it's doing, what the future is. There's like so much to it. So with this whole Rona shit, I'm looking at my own personal life and kind of like looking at like things that what has started, what has ended, what has just kind of like at the same time, what just is, you know what I mean? Depends what your definition of is. So I'm looking at it for myself, and I didn't fully write this down all the way, just kind of like a couple bullet points. But trying to think the best way to encapsulate this. So I guess during this pandemic, they shut a whole bunch of shit down. So for those of you guys who are listening in real time, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. If you're listening to this years from now, you probably still know what I'm talking about. If you're listening to this 100 or 200 years from now, you might know what I'm talking about. But basically, this whole coronavirus is they basically locked the country down for, basically 2 years. They locked us all down. They restricted travel. They tried to make people wear face coverings and masks and all this shit when it really didn't fucking work. They made us stand 6 feet apart at grocery stores and in lines. They made us not be able to eat indoors, but like they literally built these outdoor like patio covers at all the restaurants. They built them in the streets outside the restaurant. So they built another indoor sitting thing outside, and supposedly that was supposed to keep us safe from this virus. And then you're literally allowed to wear a cloth fucking like t-shirt material over your face, and supposedly that counts as like a real fucking like biohazard mask. It's like the really good masks, those actually work at filtering shit. But most people weren't wearing those, and they didn't even tell us that those were the good ones to wear in the first place. So by the time it was too late, they started telling us, oh, make sure you wear N95 and blah, 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 which is like the good masks. But by then it was already like clear that the shit was a scam and it was a hoax to a certain degree, because the virus is real, but I more so mean the propaganda and the statistics of it. People are dying everywhere. We're going to be burying people in Central Park and this and that. Like, that shit didn't happen. We were supposed to be seeing bodies lined and stacked and all this shit. We're not even going to have enough body bags. We're not going to have enough room in the earth to fucking bury all these people. During your family thing, if you didn't get vaccinated, then we wish you a season of death and suffering or some shit like that. They sent some crazy ass fucking message to everybody. It was insane. They shut down jobs. They shut down work. People who were supposedly essential workers, that was like pretty fraudulent, because all these people who were considered essential workers were people who worked at like fucking CVS, the grocery store, hospitals, firefighters, police, liquor stores, weed stores, and fast food places were allowed to stay open. Walmarts, Targets, the big places, they could stay open. But these motherfuckers, if you had a small or medium business, they shut your shit down. For reals, they made you shut down and would threaten you with fines and fines and fees and fees and fines and fees and fines and fees. And it was insane. It's like, why are these fucking motherfuckers over here with thousands of people in here every day allowed to come in? They can stand 6 feet apart, wear some bullshit thing over their face. But these people over here with a smaller business, less people, and their business, their paycheck, what they sell, what they earn goes directly to them being able to feed their family and pay their bills and pay their rent and shit like that. If Walmart shuts down, or, you know, one of these bigger stores, yeah, that happens to the people, but the business itself doesn't just tank and fucking go under and flop. But if you got a medium or small business, there's a good chance that's happening if they shut you down for several months or two or a couple years even. They turned this whole pandemic on and off and on and off, but it was basically like 2 years is what we're wrapping it up to call it as. And then they said, after all this fact, after essential workers were heroes, they said, okay, now you need to get a fucking vaccine that we just created right off the fly, right off the bat. We have no long-term tests. You guys need to take this shit or you're fired. Even though you just fucking toughed it out and thugged it out for the last 2 years, year and a half. Well, now you're fired because you don't want to take this bullshit, which you've already been exposed to this whole time. And if you have natural immunity, you're actually 100 times safer. Well, don't quote me on the number, but you're safer than injecting some shit into you. You know what I'm saying? So to encapsulate that for the people who are listening in the future, because like I said, the show is about creating timeless classics that stand the test of time. It doesn't matter if you listen to this while the current event is happening or not. That's the way that the show is designed. So to kind of paint that picture once we've all kind of forgotten and moved on, that's what the fuck's been going on. So what have I started during this podcast? Well, during this podcast, started a lot. But I was going to say, what have I started during this pandemic? Well, I started this podcast.
Damn, dude.
The Damn Dude podcast. We were born and officially launched. We were officially launched on January 25th, 2020. We came up with the idea in, I want to say, January, February, March, maybe like March the year before, 2019. I don't know. I could be getting these dates wrong. It was like, came up with the idea a little bit into the pandemic and then purchased all the shit. It was a big fucking thing for me to do so because my business got hurt bad during this because I don't own my own building, so I can't just keep my own shit open. You know what I mean? So I'm at the will of the gym and all the clients and how scared people are. And basically what the media is saying and portraying is what I'm at the whim of as far as my business and the way that everything is set up. So if everybody's scared and this place shuts down, then I don't really have a spot, you know? So for a while I had to collect pandemic unemployment. It was all legit. I wasn't scamming nobody. You know, I paid my taxes from it, the whole thing. And I used a lot of that money. Keep in mind, my baby was like brand new. I got a family and all that. So I start this podcast. I invest in the equipment. And that was a huge risk at a time where I'm on unemployment, getting no fucking business. I got a teenager and a growing baby and a girl and girlfriend and a dog and a fucking house and a bajillion bills. So it was a huge risk for me to take on creating this podcast. And the only reason I did is because the same reason you guys still hear me consistently here every fucking week, dropping some real ass shit. I had that vision so clear in my head before I started that I knew it was the right thing to do. I was like, I have to really weigh out if this is just going to be a little phase or if I'm really going to be committed to this. Because how many podcasts have started in the past 2 years that are not here anymore? A lot. People are creating podcasts left and right. And they just kind of falls off because a lot of times people are going with podcasts off of current events or like their homies talking shit. And that's cool, but the current event thing, it gets kind of old. You know, there's not like talking about all the shit's not exciting all the time. There's a lack of authenticity in it because it's being fed from the news and the media and somewhere else already. It's not like completely original. Then joking with the homies, it's like, it's very specific, you know, very specific people have to be able to relate to you and your circle and your crew and stuff, you know? And you guys got to actually be talking about some cool shit. But a lot of times people are just talking like media stuff and gossip and celebrities and this and that. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But, you know, in 100 years from now, it's all invalid. Like, nobody gives a shit. You know what I'm saying? No, like, who gives a fuck what Kim Kardashian did or said or whatever in 100 years from now? Unless it's really profound and makes a difference. But it's terms of like, oh, Kanye this and this guy that. And it's like, okay, dude, like, whatever. That doesn't actually mean or do anything for society or legacy or history or anything, like, really. You know what I'm saying? So I started this podcast. I started practicing gratitude every fucking day. I started practicing spending quality time with my kids. There was a moment where I was spending time with my kids, but it wasn't quality. Whereas, like, I'm on my phone constantly and they're doing their thing and whatever. And I'm kind of like, oh, yeah, you know, and like, I changed that. I checked myself. I really fucking had to refocus and, you know, and well, I should say, and start paying more attention to actual quality time to where it's like, yo, you have my full attention, dude. I see every little basket you shoot. I see every chord you play on your guitar. I hear every note you're singing. I see all your efforts and your non-efforts and your everything. Like, I'm really there, you know? So that's something that I've really been focusing on and started doing. Another thing I started doing was I started 75 hard, which turned into 112 hard, which was pretty fucking amazing. I want to say it's life-changing, but I'm not sure yet. Like, I've kind of gotten a little bit fat since I completed it, but at the same time, I have this extra sense of drive to run and read and drink a gang of water every day. And I can definitely say that's been birthed from 75 hard. So I think that that's really dope. It's kind of put in me, you've got to get out. You've got to educate yourself. You have to. You got to keep moving forward with those sorts of things. I also started in Lay Tip Business Group. That was really cool. I got voted in. I had to apply. I had to give a speech. This whole fucking thing. I had to get recruited. The whole thing. And it was really fucking cool. I got approved. And then I thought these people would just let kind of whoever in if you kind of fit the right qualifications. Come to find out, I see motherfuckers get turned down left and right. And I was like, whoa, okay. I thought they were just voting everybody in. I didn't realize that I'm actually bringing something valuable to the table. So,
damn, dude.
That's really fucking cool. So what has ended for me during this whole pandemic? My relationship ended with my kid's mom, my ex. Business fucking came to a screeching halt. That was pretty fucking bad. My mom and dad divorced. That was also pretty fucking tough. I was homeless for a while. That was pretty tough. I had gone broke and fucking been negative in my account probably more than I ever have in my whole life. And that's hard to deal with as an adult, having kids and a business and all this stuff, but that's just a fact of life, dude. I was having to, for the past couple weeks, I was in this position where I kept having to trick my bank account. My bank account will let me go negative. It'll let me overspend more than what I have in my account. So there's times where I'm getting fucking taxed by life and bills and just whatever shit I got to pay for. And it's sinking. I'm like, all right, I owe this guy fucking 200 or I owe 100 here. I have fucking 80 in my bank and I have no gas and I have no food. So how do I pay this person and eat and have gas all at the same time? Well, this is when you get motherfucking creative. So what I would do is I would get gas via credit. Some of them debit will let you fucking do it. But I would get enough gas for the week. Oh, no, sorry. So if I had 80 in my account and I owe 100, I would pay 100, which would, if I do it on the right day, if I do it on Friday, it'll count as paid, but it won't process through my whole bank yet because the weekend happens. So then what I do is, because I sent the payment, it shows sent and it shows received by the other person. It just hasn't all the way processed yet. With that, because it's the end of the week and the weekend, my bank still reads positive because it hasn't processed through my 100, which was actually 80, which would put me at negative 20, which actually puts me at negative 50, well, 53 because of the $33 charge. So I would fill up gas via credit, and then I would withdraw for, you know how it's like when you can go to, like I would go to Ralph's or grocery store also, and when you use the self-pay thing or the debit thing, it says, oh, do you want cash back? And because my bank still reads positive, it says I have $80 in there. Boom, I pull out 60. That's usually the max. I'll pull out 60 cash, and then I'll go and pay for gas via credit or debit also. So I'll have 60 for food. This is so ghetto, but this is literally what I was doing for weeks after weeks. I would have $60 for food. I would have that credited gas I needed through the pump, which drops me down to, usually I put like $40 or something, just enough so I know I can pay it back. And then the payment, which will get processed on Monday, then I get repaid again on Monday, and then again on Thursday. So then I would use that to, whatever money I would get on Monday, to pay back the account to negative, and then re-dip it into negative until Thursday, until I could replay that whole move again, fill it back up, and then drain my shit to negative again. And then just paying, like, on this cycle of going negative, paying positive, going negative, paying it positive, tricking it to go farther negative than the money that I actually have, to boom, 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 keep doing this shit. And this is shit you don't think of when you've got money. Even if you have like hardly any money, but you got enough and you're not negative, you don't think about this shit. It just goes away. Because right now that I'm not doing that, that whole thought process and that whole way of doing shit just kind of went away, and it disappeared out of my life and my view and my vision. So I'm looking at that, I'm like, holy fuck. So that was something that I'm putting an end to now. But that did start during this pandemic, you know, going through that whole fucking process. I couldn't believe that shit. Having my relationship end, having my parents divorce after, you know, like 30 something years of marriage was pretty crazy. You know, it hit me harder than I would have thought. At the same time, I see the necessity of it, and I see the point, and I see the bigger picture. There's been a lot of other shit too, man. Like, got in a car accident, got my car totaled. My mom got in a car accident, got her totaled, or her car totaled. Actually, my cousin was driving my mom's car, and the car got totaled. So I'm glad that they're all okay. The car is fucking dusted and disgusted. My car accident, I had to go fucking start a lawsuit and push that shit through. That fucking sucked. Still going through it, but they're trying to total my car, and they're trying to fuck me for it, and trying to say I'm half at fault, which is completely unfair because we just got straight rear-ended in the middle of the night. And I will say, completely fuck Progressive Insurance to the absolute fucking maximum. Fuck those guys completely. If you're going to get insurance, do not get it from them. They will completely fuck you like they're fucking me. I do not recommend. I don't talk shit about businesses. I don't fucking air people out. But these guys motherfucking suck, and they've been completely fucking me, and I have no respect for them. So fuck them. They're some scammers, dude. I understand just like having shit fall through the cracks and this and that. That happens. But to straight up go on some scammer type shit, fuck you guys, dude. You guys are hosing me. Because the person who hit me also has the same insurance company. So they're trying to like do whatever they can to pay out as little as possible. They even tried to forget the whole thing and ignore the whole thing. That's why I had to get a lawyer. So fuck that. On a more positive note, God, there's been so much shit that's happened in this past year or so, 2 years. But I want to say that I'm grateful for it all, because since I've since all this, I've started this podcast, which has been helping a lot of fucking people. And it blows my mind and it warms my heart when people say, yo, this is my favorite podcast. I'm like, what? Like, how? No way. It's just little old me. Like, I'm keeping it real. And I understand that there's something valuable and powerful about that, because authenticity is not what we're used to hearing. We're not used to getting that filtered through our speakers and our headphones and whatever. So I think that this is a breath of fresh air for a lot of people. It's like, damn, I was feeling that too. I was experiencing that too. Or, it's like there's different types of learning. And what I hope to provide with this show is the type of learning which is not just like educational or informative or hands-on learning, but experiential learning. What I mean by that is through the sharing of my experiences, you guys get to tap into your own experiences and you get to feel shift happen because of the shit that's happened in my life, or the positives or the good or whatever the fuck I share. I only share so it's relatable to other people in a way that they can get it for themselves and have that for themselves. So I think that's so cool, because when you keep it real, other people receive that, feel that, and then it bleeds out into conversations, and it bleeds out into public, and it bleeds out into society and life. So the more realness that we got, the more authenticity that exists, the better off we all are. If it's normal to start having conversations that need to be had, even just that alone is so fucking powerful. So that's a big part of my angle, is let's have the conversations that need to be had in a way that'll make you think and say, damn, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's like taking that deep conversation and then making it fun. That's basically what that whole tagline means. It's like, we're going to talk about the realest shit until happiness, understanding, and love presents itself in the best way possible, to where we're like, damn, wow, man, holy shit, fuck, bro, damn, dude. This could have been called the Fuck Bro podcast. This could have been called the Damn Homie podcast. You know what I mean? I originally was going to name the show The Lace Up. Like, yo, this is The Lace Up. We're here to lace you up. And then have a shoelace tying sound like. But somebody else already took the show name and they don't even produce a show. They owned it already. So I was like, fuck. Anyway, it's all good. I like this. The Damn Dude podcast has turned into something fucking phenomenal and brilliant. And I absolutely love this shit to the max. So, what have you guys started? What have you guys ended? What has become finished and final and finite in your life since this pandemic? What have you started that's become new and beautiful and is growing now that the fucking sun is here and it's motherfucking almost summertime, basically? We got daylight savings time in the motherfucking house. And like I said, in California, it's a fucking big deal. Daylight savings time is the motherfucking shit, especially out here, because it's so fucking nice in those warm nights where you're out and it's 8 o'clock and you don't need a jacket, a sweater, nothing, and you just feel so fucking good. Or you can be in shorts and fucking tank top, no shirt, flip-flop, tank top, flip-flop, really nothing fancy. Then I was approached by a girl named Tammy, something, Vivica Nancy. Some old Mace and P. Diddy song. But really though, it's like, it's good to think about this stuff. What are you guys grateful for? If you can practice gratitude, we're at the end of this pandemic. If you can start practicing gratitude, you're going to start winning more and more in life. And I know that's the only way I've been surviving and good things keep fucking happening, is because I'm grateful. And I intend to just keep creating that and doing that and putting in the work and getting used to working harder, because this pandemic got me lazy. It put me in this weird state of mind. Same thing with all my relationship stuff and life circumstances happening. So it's a good opportunity to kick back, reflect, and really take on understanding where the fuck we come from and why and how the fuck we're doing it in the way, is it the way that we want to be doing it? Damn. So with all that being said, I say that to say this. I hope you guys have a beautiful motherfucking day. It's beautiful outside. You are beautiful. Remember to smile. Remember to laugh. Remember to relax your eyebrows and your forehead. Smile. Drink some water. Take a deep breath. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Hope you guys have the most beautiful day ever. Spend quality time with your kids, with your friends, your fun, your family, your folks, yourself. It's important. Love you guys.
Damn, dude.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Much love. Have a beautiful day. Peace.